story connected to the border crisis. Travis Wolf was just one day away from celebrating his 12th birthday when a woman who was in the United States illegally from Venezuela crashed head-on into his family's Jeep.
Church teacher accused of abusing several children in Montgomery County, Maryland. Tonight, immigration officials tell us he was never supposed to be in the United States in the first place, and he had already been deported twice.
Palm Beach County deputies arrested 3 undocumented immigrants in Lake Worth Beach on sexual battery charges. According to the arrest affidavit, the 3 suspects, all from Guatemala, abducted a local woman along the street and threw her inside a truck. Authorities say the men drove off and stopped at a nearby intersection where they sexually assaulted her and filmed it.
The leader of a Colombian street gang, Los Antañas, has been arrested in Texas where he was seeking asylum. Colombian authorities confirmed that he was one of the 7 most wanted murderers in Colombia's capital.
A woman accused in Mexico of several murders and body dismemberments, even removing victims' hearts, is arrested in El Paso. The FBI says Pineda was known for extreme brutality, dismembering bodies, removing hearts, and placing the hearts in front of Santa Muerte statue.
Stabbings outside a St. Charles County laundromat unveiling a man who entered the country illegally. According to investigators, Barrera Amaya stabbed 2 people outside Highlander Laundry in O'Fallon, Missouri. He's facing 4 charges tonight, including assault, and police say this guy has been on Homeland Security's radar for a while.
Sergeant Brian.
Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. What I just showed you there was a couple of clips actually that were put together by Black Conservative 24. I'll leave a link in my description to his channel so you can go show him some love and give him a thumbs up. But these are news clippings that have been in the news. Okay, a lot of the mainstream media is not showing it, but these are things that are happening as of recent. Especially the one of that Colombian drug lord or whatever he is that they just picked up a couple of days ago, and now this one that they're saying that this guy here has been on the FBR's radar. Okay, but yet they really did nothing up until something was done before they went and picked them up. Sadly, that boy in the beginning of the video was killed, okay, by someone else. He illegally driving, God only knows. Could have been recklessly under the influence. Maybe they had a problem. I don't know. Okay, details on that are still coming out. And you see, like in the other, in the rest of the clips of who they're describing, like the crimes that are being done by some of these illegals that are coming in. Now, before I continue any more, I just 2 things. I just want to thank all my new subscribers and all my subscribers here on YouTube and on Rumble. So don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass the channel around. If you can help support the channel, I'll leave a link in my description to my Cash App and PayPal and my merch store, TrueOutlawPatriot.com. That's number 1. Number 2, I'm just gonna put it straight out. I don't like deleting or blocking people when they leave messages on any of my videos, especially if you have a different opinion and or you are some troll leftist that is trying to get under my skin. Okay, if you don't like my content, that's fine. I don't care. You have every right to say what you have to say. But if you're going to keep spewing lies and trying to say that, oh, us Republicans or people on the right or conservatives or whatever the case is, that we're a bunch of knuckle draggers and that you leftists, liberals, and college students are smarter than us and that's why we fear you, let's just get one thing straight. People on the right don't fear people on the left, first and foremost. At least I know I don't. Okay, and if you think that the people on the right, the liberals and the college students now that are still walking around with face masks and think that a boy could be a girl and vice versa, and that the planet is coming to an end because I don't know, cows are farting more, I definitely don't fear a person like you that thinks like that. Believe me when I tell you. I definitely don't. The ones that are dragging their knuckles are people on the left who still think like cavemen, okay? And cave women. Let me just do that so like that, you guys don't think that, you see, we're all men and, this and that, because you'll find a way to spin this shit around. But anyway, with that being said, getting back to what's important, people keep thinking that a lot of these crimes that are being committed are by illegals, that it's not a big deal, okay? The case of the matter is, people are not understanding, a lot of criminals have been let out of prisons in South America, okay? And what we are getting is an influx of criminals that are coming in unchecked and unvetted. Now, some people will say, well, how do we vet them and know that they say who they are at the border? Well, plain and simple. If they find out who these people are after they committed a crime, then I guarantee you that they can find out who these people are before they even come across the border. Okay? It doesn't make a difference. It's not like some magic wand was waved after they committed a crime. A lot of these crimes that they're committing, if not all, these are not one-offs. You might say that some of the crimes of them stealing might be done by people that are desperate because they're hungry. That I could understand. But the rape and the murder and the drugs and the stabbings and the group mentality of snatching people up in broad daylight, that are not one-offs. Those are not one-offs. Those are people that are criminally minded who are coming from other countries, who are actually, in my opinion, have been let out of prisons in a lot of these prison breaks, and they're making their way across the border. Okay? So to come out and say that, there's no way that we can vet them and find out who they are. If you find out who they are after they've committed a crime, and now you got their background check all of a sudden, you can check them before they come at the border. Plain and simple. And if no country wants to cooperate and say, well, we don't have to disclose the information on that person, then the leftist regime in the White House can easily say, well, then we're not going to do any business with you until you give us that information. But the thing is, they won't do that because they're part of the problem. They're part of this design. This is what they want. They want to sow the division and the chaos. They want to make America collapse from within. They want to give all these illegals all the incentives, all the jobs, give them all the get out of jail free cards, give them everything they can, because they do not care about America, the Americans, and they definitely don't care about all these illegals coming over. They don't. They care about power. And that's it. Now, I'm going to read an article to you because now some federal judge has got, for lack of a better term, has got a bug up their butt, saying that now illegals constitutionally can own guns in America. And I'll read that to you, and and then I'm going to show you a video clip on why this problem will persist unless the powers that be get ousted out. But let's get to the article first. Let's continue. Okay, this article is by United Liberty. Came out about 10 hours ago. It says federal judge rules gun ban for illegal immigrants is unconstitutional. Okay. It says the right to keep and bear arms has long been considered a fundamental aspect of American identity and liberty. However, questions arise when considering whether this right extends to individuals who are in the country illegally. The recent ruling by U.S. District Judge Sharon Johnson Coleman, who, by the way, is supposedly an Obama-appointed judge, and if she is, it does not surprise me, okay? Or I should say, this wouldn't surprise me. She says, challenges the federal prohibition on firearm ownership for illegal immigrants, sparking debate over the intersection of immigration status and Second Amendment rights. Now, before I continue, I just want to say one thing, okay? First of all, it's always the people on the left, judges, district attorneys, presidents, that say they need to take away the guns, take away the guns, take away the guns. Okay? You don't have a right to own a gun in New York or in the blue states or in the blue cities. You don't have that right because this, and that. We're going to put laws on it, yada, yada, yada. Right? We're going to go against your Second Amendment rights. But now this judge is going to come out and say, oh, no, that is true, but we think, or I think that illegals, crossing the border illegally can own guns because it's part of their constitutional rights. They don't have constitutional rights. Okay? If they crossed illegally, that is the key word. Laws have been put up by the federal government and by states since the beginning of this country. Okay? And this is why I'm always saying that the people on the left, okay, and rhinos, they use the Constitution to go against the Constitution. But let's continue reading. It says, for years, federal law has imposed strict limitations on firearm ownership for illegal immigrants, citing concerns about public safety and adherence to immigration laws. However, Judge Coleman's decision in the case of U.S. versus Carvalho Flores challenges the constitutionality of these restrictions. By invoking the Supreme Court's precedent in the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin case, Judge Coleman asserts that the Second Amendment protects the rights of illegal immigrants to possess firearms. Now, here's the thing with that. If that was the case, not too long ago, a few months ago, I did a video on the people in one of the neighborhoods in Chicago that were complaining because a big group of illegals, I believe they said they were from Venezuela, they were out in the street causing a ruckus, and some of them had guns. And they got in trouble for that. But now here's the thing. Supposedly this woman, this judge, is from Illinois. Okay? Try to figure all this out, but let's continue. At the center of the legal dispute in Gilberto Carvalho Flores, an illegal immigrant who faced charges under federal law for possessing a firearm, Judge Coleman's ruling to dismiss the charges against Carvalho Flores makes a significant departure from previous interpretations of the law. Her decision underscores the principles that individuals, regardless of immigration status, maintain certain constitutional rights, including the right to bear arms. Now, what is wrong with this right here with this woman, people? What is wrong with this? How many times have Americans, okay, have gotten in trouble, and most of the time for not even having a misdemeanor, for just being on probation or whatever the case is, have been caught with a firearm and have gotten, that was basically the nail in their coffin. But now you're telling me that illegal immigrants, when they do things, that they still have the right to keep and bear arms. But yet it's the leftist judges and stuff that are telling people, like in Chicago, that they don't have the right to keep and bear arms. But you can't make this up. Let's continue. It says Judge Coleman's rational rest on the premise that Carvalho Flores had not been convicted of a felony or violent crime, nor had he undergone due process procedures that would justify revoking his gun rights. She emphasizes that mere misdemeanor immigration violations are insufficient grounds to deprive an individual of their Second Amendment protections. This interpretation reflects a broader trend in Second Amendment laws following the Bruin decision, which has prompted increased scrutiny of gun restrictions in the courts. So, the Supreme Court said that it was unconstitutional for a state like New York to stop people from owning a gun, law-abiding citizens. Okay? Where was her disdain against that ruling? Where was this judge to speak out on behalf of the people in New York when the leftists in New York decided that even though the Supreme Court said you can't do that, they still went and did it anyway? I'd like to know, was she upset about that? Chances are she probably wasn't. And the key reason being, and in my opinion, is that it was because it was law-abiding citizens, American citizens, that wanted this right. They couldn't have it, but this woman feels, as a federal judge, I think that illegals should, keep and bear arms in America after coming in here illegally. But let's continue. Critics of the ruling argued that allowing illegal immigrants to possess firearms could pose significant risk to public safety, particularly given concerns about violent crime associated with certain segments of this population. They contend that the decision undermines efforts to enforce immigration laws and could have unintended consequences for law-abiding citizens. And this is true, in my opinion, 100%. Because the argument from the left all the time, especially in New York, that they don't want people walking around legally carrying because it's a threat to society around them. Okay, that it's dangerous. Okay? And when you don't know the law, you can put people in trouble. I'm going to tell you a quick story. One time when I was in Little Rock, Arkansas, okay, I was driving on a, it wasn't a back secluded road. It was just a back road of the neighborhoods. It looked like some guy tried to go in front of a car using the left lane. He cut in too quick, hit the front of the car. Okay, it wasn't a major crash. They basically all skidded to a bad halt altogether. Okay, the guy in the car that got cut off, he comes out. Okay, Spanish speaking guy. The other guy that was, I guess his passenger ran out. They started pulling the guy out the truck. Now I'm behind him. I see this happening. The guy in the front, he looked like he was drunk. The guy that got hit, he can barely speak English. He pulls out a gun. So he's telling the guy, he's pointing the gun at him, telling the guy, don't move till the police get here. So I come out and I tell him, put the gun away. And he's like, no, it's all right. I can carry. I'm like, but you're not supposed to brandish your weapon. You are not supposed to stop somebody and hold them at gunpoint. Okay? Now that can happen to anybody. Okay? But now what happens when you give a gun to somebody that doesn't speak English at all? And they think that any little reason they can pull that gun out and shoot somebody. Just my thoughts, but let's continue. However, proponents of the ruling assert that the Second Amendment applies to all individuals, regardless of their immigration status, and that denying gun rights to illegal immigrants would constitute an unjustifiable infringement on their freedoms. Last I checked, as a registered gun owner, knowing the reciprocity laws all around the United States, no. Nowhere does it say, at least from what I've seen, that an illegal immigrant can own legally a gun in America. Okay? A registered immigrant, somebody that's registered, that's going through the right procedures, in some states, they let that happen. Okay? A documented immigrant, someone that's here, someone that they know, that they can trust, that has passed all the background checks. But of course, proponents are going to say, no, let's just start giving all these illegals, knowing very well that there is a big crime wave coming and we don't know who is who. And right away, they want to come out with this. Let it scare you, folks, because this definitely is something to worry about. But let's continue. As the legal landscape continues to evolve, the ruling in U.S. versus Carball Flores is likely to fuel further debate and litigation regarding the rights of illegal immigrants and the scope of Second Amendment protections. The case raises complex questions about the balance between public safety, immigration enforcement, and individual rights in American society. Ultimately, it underscores the importance of careful consideration and constitutional analysis in navigating the intersection of immigration law and firearm regulations. What do you think? How might Judge Coleman's ruling impact the enforcement of existing federal restrictions on firearm ownership for illegal immigrants? What factors should courts consider when evaluating the Second Amendment rights of individuals who entered the country illegally? That's basically the end of the article right there. So, it doesn't surprise me This does not surprise me one bit, people. The left, you give them an inch, they want a freaking mile. It does not surprise me. It was just a matter of time before one of these anti-American leftists start pulling stuff out their ass to keep benefiting the influx of illegal immigrants that are coming in. If this goes any further than what it should, and they start letting these illegal immigrants come in and give them firearms, believe me when I tell you, the murder rate in America will skyrocket. It will skyrocket. And I'll tell you why. Because now, you're going to have American criminals that should not own firearms. They're going to push for that too. Mark my words. And the leftists will make this such a cluster. I don't want to use the last word, but you know what I'm saying. That it will, I mean, I'm telling you, nobody will be safe, because you will not know what mindset a lot of these criminals and illegals are going to have that would make them want to pull out that gun and kill somebody. I guarantee you. And this is one part. But now look at what's going on at the border, and this is why this chaos does not slow down. And it's because of certain people, and I'll show you how. Here we go. Pay close attention to this news clip and to the immigration lawyer of what he has to say about illegals and what he has to say about America. This is a problem, people. Pay attention.
It's based on the existing federal law, 8 U.S.C. 1225 for illegal entry. And that's why SB 4 is drafted specifically the same way that federal law. And that's the same federal law that's been on the book, when I say for decades, I'm talking about 70 years this law has been in effect.
State Representative David Spiller helped move Senate Bill 4 through the Texas House, and Governor Abbott signed it into law in December. The legislation was set to go into effect on March 5th, but was paused until Tuesday when the Supreme Court lifted its hold. That's drawing differences in opinion across the state.
I had no idea that they were going to allow the hurt.
Okay, now listen to this man right here. Listen to every word he says. I'm going to cut him off because this guy, he disgusts me big time. But listen to what he says.
I had no idea that they were going to allow the hurt to begin and to continue while the case is appealed to the Fifth Circuit and then ultimately back again.
Okay, we're going to stop it. He says that he does not believe that we're going to allow the hurt. This is why I have a problem with immigration lawyers like this one right here. Okay, they wear their American flag lapel. Okay, I'm an American, but I'm going to help illegals cross the border. And he's going to talk about the hurt. Okay, what about all the hurt that has been caused already by illegal criminals that are crossing the border? By criminals coming through all these illegal caravans that are embedding themselves and committing crimes. What about the hurt they've caused? Okay, what about that hurt? Well, let's continue.
To the Supreme Court where they can hear it in bank. I thought, I hoped, I prayed, I believed that the Supreme Court would freeze all of that and let the litigation continue. Not let the hurt begin while the litigation continues.
Okay, you heard the words he said? He hoped, he prayed. Okay? And he used the word again, the hurt. Nobody is telling these people to come here. Okay? You know, I wonder if he prayed for every single victim, okay, every person that has been a victim to these illegal criminals that are coming in and raping, murdering, robbing, stabbing. I wonder if he prayed for those victims, for those people, because he's making it seem like the illegals are the victims here. But let's continue.
Last month, Governor Abbott issued a statement saying, quote, Texas has the right to defend itself because of President Biden's ongoing failure to fulfill his duty to protect our state from the invasion at our southern border, end quote.
This is not an invasion. These are people fleeing. Someday we could be fleeing.
He says this is not an invasion. This is people fleeing. Someday we could be fleeing. If they keep flooding the country with all these illegals, yes, Americans will be forced to flee. It is, I cannot stand the words that's coming out this man's mouth. See, these are the people that, in my eyes, I consider them traitors to this country. Especially for using the words that they're using, making it seem as if, you know what? Yeah, we had to let all these people in because they're all fleeing. So now America only has what, 330 million people? Okay, there are nearly 8 billion people on the planet. So we're supposed to let in what, 2, 3, 4, 5 billion people on the planet into America, because everybody's suffering around the world. Everybody's trying to flee something, somewhere, some tyrannical regime. Are we supposed to let them all in? To think that this dude is a freaking lawyer is mind-boggling in itself. But let's continue.
It's like people are fleeing all over the world from repressive regimes. There is absolutely an invasion going on, and we're doing our best to address it.
SB4 grants local law enforcement officers in Texas permission to detain, arrest, and in some cases deport those who have crossed the border without the proper documentation.
So they're deporting everybody that crosses the Texas border back to Mexico. So that's Haitians and Venezuelans and Nicaraguans and El Salvadoranians and Hondurans and Canadians and Irish. Everybody who entered, that's what that law says.
According to Mexico's government, it will not under any circumstances accept the return of any migrants to its territory from the state of Texas, and is not required to accept deportations of anyone except Mexican citizens. Adding to the list of those not in favor of SB4, the Fort Worth police chief also chimed in.
It is the mission of the Fort Worth Police Department to serve every member of our community. And our day-to-day commitment to that mission will not change with the passage of Senate Bill 4. Although we will always follow the law, the primary responsibility for immigration enforcement and border protection should be left to our federal and state partners.
Okay, I guarantee you, the people will not be voting this sheriff back in. Okay? Because he's over here saying following the law, but yet his governor is asking for help and cooperation, and he doesn't want to follow the law. Now, what about the law that, in, I don't know, all the states, all 50 states that say people shouldn't be committing crimes and killing? You are letting people in that are committing crimes. So instead of saying, you know what, let me get on board with the governor and let's figure this out, it's like, no, I got to protect everybody. Really? So why don't you get your happy ass into the big cities where these crimes are being committed? Or how about, let's put it like this. You're in Fort Worth. Were you there to protect the lives of the husband and wife rancher that was killed by a teenage illegal immigrant that came over and killed them both? Were you there to protect them? No, you weren't. And this is the reason why we're having these problems. Because of lawyers like that immigration lawyer, sheriffs like this, people that are under the thumb of the leftist regime that does not care about America, Americans, or even illegals at this point. But let's continue.
In response to the chief's video, Texas Speaker Dade Phelan posted to X, quote, "Unbelievable. Compliance with state law is not optional. It is mandatory. Any local law enforcement agency that refuses to enforce Senate Bill 4 is abandoning their sworn duty to uphold the rule of law," end quote.
The choice is going to be talk to a police officer or not talk to a police officer. Admit to a police officer that you came in illegally into the state of Texas, okay, or not say a word. What do I tell people? I'm going to tell people not to say a word.
The Biden administration.
Now, you just heard him. The lawyer says that he will tell people not to say a word. Break the law. Don't say nothing. Now, I know some people are going to say, well, that's your right, this, and that, yada, yada, yada. Well, people are forgetting, once again, that once you cross that border without going through a port of entry like you're supposed to, you have broken the law. Now, that sheriff, like the man just said in the tweet that he put out, you're supposed to uphold the law. The law says to protect the country and its citizens from all threats, foreign and domestic. If these people are coming from a foreign land, you're supposed to protect that border. But obviously, he didn't get the memo. Okay? Let's continue.
Administration is suing to strike down the measure, which they call a violation of federal authority.
Well, there you go. The Biden administration is saying that, it's going against federal authority. When Donald Trump was trying to lay down the law, federal authority, people on the left didn't care. They went against him. Tooth and nail. Whatever they could do, by hook or by crook. Okay? Whereas right now, you have an attorney general, okay, Letitia James or whoever it is, that is trying to take away Trump's assets, his buildings, okay, violating the law in so many ways that people are like, it's unheard of to even do something like this. She's trying to set precedents. The Biden administration letting the Department of Justice just go after whoever they want, especially if you're not on their side, okay? Conservatives, parents, school board members that are against, all the woke curriculum. Just going after whoever they want. And he has the nerve to say that the governor is going against federal authority. These people are some of the sickest people that I never thought I would encounter. Politicians that can stoop so low, okay, like in my lifetime. You only hear about this in movies, or you hear about it in other countries where you're looking at it on the news and you're like, man, I'm sure glad that's not happening here in America. Well, guess what, people? It's happening. It's here. It's here, man. So now you got lawyers saying that they're going to tell illegals not to say a word when they get arrested. You got sheriffs saying that, you know what, no, I'm not doing, what the state law says, because now he works for the federal government. I thought there was a chain of command, but obviously he doesn't care. At this point in time in America, we're in a scary time where we don't know who we can trust anymore, in all honesty. In all honesty, I cannot put my trust in a police officer that thinks that it's okay for people to cross the border illegally and they deserve no consequences or repercussions or anything like that. Because if they're going to let them go, it makes you wonder, who exactly is that sheriff or that deputy or that cop? Who exactly are they willing to arrest? Never mind the illegals that are coming in. Never mind the ones that are coming in that are criminals in their own country. Who are they letting go out on the streets? Okay? That are committing crimes. And why are they letting them go? Think about that. But anyway, that's what I got for you. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, pass it around, give it a thumbs up. If you can help support the channel, there's a link in my description to my Cash App and PayPal and my merch store, TrueOutlaw.Patreon.com. If you can buy a t-shirt, that will help the channel a lot. If not, subscribing, giving it a thumbs up, passing it around, just as good. Got to keep this algorithm going. People, this is not something that we can let go. They're going to be pushing this agenda so damn hard for the next 6-7 months. I pray to God not. Like the old saying, it'll get better before it gets, it'll get worse before it gets better. I pray to God not. Too much innocent blood has been lost already. And it just seems like the powers that be, they don't care. And my prayer right now is that I hope that more people on the left wake up and see, wait a minute, it's true. Regardless that people are trying to come here for a better life, if they're not willing to speak up and say who are the criminals, more innocent people's blood will be shed. And I pray that they cannot vote for something like this. So remember, people, stay vigilant, keep praying for each other, and keep praying for this country. Peace.